We are on our nearing the end of our quarter here. I think we're doing a really solid job. And this presentation here is just about some social media things that we could look at. Again, a few of you might be using these social medias already, so you're very familiar with them. But I just wanted to cover a few of them. And I was thinking about it too, but if you guys ever wanted to, for instance, we are going to speak about LinkedIn quite a bit, which is a very nice professional type of social media. I think it's always useful for you guys if you ever wanted. I think everyone should have a LinkedIn in my opinion, as it's pretty good. But again, I'm not trying to advertise for any company here. But do let me know if you're ever interested with these concepts more in depth outside of the classroom too, such as building a website or creating these social media platforms as well. Cool. So without further ado, let's see here. Great. So today I just want to show off some relevant social medias that I think we'll all understand, but are useful too. And then just a few tips on how to use the most popular social media platforms. Cool. So if anyone wants to pitch in here, do you guys use a lot of social media, or if you guys just want to let me know which ones you do use? Okay, I'm not trying to put anyone in the spot. Let's see. Let me grab. Instagram? Yeah, Instagram's always fun. Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of cool niches about it as well. If you're not a fan of like as much texting or anything like that as well, I find Instagram's pretty good. Let's see here. Cool. And again, there's a bunch of them here too, besides just the Instagram one as well. You can see here we have Flickr, we have where was the other one? Foursquare, Skype as well, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's becoming very famous as well. There was definitely that definitely blew up in the past, I guess, year as well. And then you could also see TikTok kind of did that interesting thing where they kind of catered to the younger generations with how fast they made it. Well, I guess not younger, I guess, but they definitely made it so that you could upload these things faster. But then at the same time, we got to take into consideration like the pandemic happened, so that also might have contributed to how famous they got off it. Facebook most often, yeah. There's definitely a lot of different. Oh, I forgot to let people in. Sorry, everyone. Hi, everyone. Morning. I'm just going over. I just asked everyone if which social media platforms they use, and so if you guys just want to chip in with ones you use or which ones you wanted to use too. Yeah, I find I use yeah, I find I use Facebook to check up on folks a bit more, but I don't really use them to post too much as well. There's a lot of people out there that don't that have these accounts that aren't active, or sorry, they don't make a lot of posts, but they are active on them too. That's a large group of people. Let's see here. That might just be me too, though. Cool. Instagram as well. Cool. Yes, we have a few of these here. Here. Half. Yeah. Yeah, change. Make your account based on what they're offering. Cool. Yeah, and again, a lot of these social media platforms, I don't know. There's a lot of difference. There's a lot of similarities between them too, but there's a lot of it kind of shifts and stuff. I remember um, Tumblr was really big when I was like I think in grade school, high school. Everyone had a Tumblr, but now it seems like everyone. It doesn't seem as popular now. Twitter seems a lot more popular instead of Facebook. So these things kind of wave with the times as well. Um, with that being said, though, the reason why I'm mentioning all these waving with the times is because it's important to make sure that you kind of shift what your idea is of your company based on their social media too, right? So you don't. It probably wouldn't be a great idea to try to make a MySpace account for your company now, right? Like everyone's forgotten about that. So the point that we're trying to get across here as well is that social media is always changing. And then the biggest part here is that there's not one right way to include them in your marketing plan, which is this is kind of a reoccurring theme here. Is that there's proper ways to approach these problems, but there's definitely not one correct way to do it, which kind of makes the quizzes sometimes confusing because it seems like there's only one way to make a plan. But essentially, what we want to get across is some do's and don'ts and making the most of them as well. But again, these brands and your businesses, and even this social media business that we're working on for our capstone, is your guys's. You can essentially do whatever you'd like with them. You can go as deep into some social media aspects as you'd like and avoid others. But here's some do's and don'ts here. Oh, I think I associated that with the form thing. Cool. So we have a LinkedIn, and I spoke about this earlier, and Solomon mentioned as well that he uses it, and the LinkedIn is kind of late, like in layman terms, it's kind of like a Facebook for professionals, pretty much. It does have the like feature, and the cool thing about it as well is you can provide other with details, your career, and a very interesting thing is the third bullet point here is your ability to create database contacts. So you can actually reach out to people that LinkedIn has determined are similar to your field, and then you can either contact them by connecting. And again, once you connect, you can message each other. So they might even have a job. You might be able to share your career and industry post. Um, and again, at the bottom down here, if professionals, yeah, I would say that LinkedIn is probably the best one so far for like professional social media, if that's a thing, as it just allows a lot of ways to brand yourself, especially if you're an independent person too. But again, you can always make LinkedIn for your company too, and then have your industry experience there and stuff like that too. So definitely look at the LinkedIn. And again, if you guys are interested in creating one, just reach out to me too. There's a lot of ways that you can go about creating these things. Yeah, and then the cool thing about LinkedIn as well is you can have your business information there and share posts that are related to your industry. And you're really good hard LinkedIn here. But there's I wonder if someone's in the waiting room. There's like a big forum. It's similar to Facebook in a way it's organized, where it's like the news posts are at the top and they go down. But essentially, you can try to keep up with your contacts. You can reach out to people. Sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming too, though, because there's always new contacts being found. If you add in new skills into your business or to your profile, you might meet like 40 new contacts and stuff as well. But another cool thing are these special interest groups. So let's just say that you're very into collaboration online or like how we use Zoom calls or anything like that as well. There's a lot of interest groups that you can focus on. And maybe if there's not one, you could create one. I think a cool way to show off your company and your business would be to create a special interest group that kind of focuses on how people go about maybe I don't know. It could be about anything too. It could be about as long as it's related to the field that you're working in. It would be cool to do that. Interesting. Oops. Great. And now we have our do's, and we're gonna get to the don'ts as well. But if you guys remember, way back from last weekend, we talked about those keywords and phrases. So keywords and phrases are still actually a part of this robot spider idea that we have going on. But LinkedIn will use keywords and phrases to search for relevance inside of your profile. Another, well, let's see here. This might not be the if you have a website associated with your business or yourself as well, because people have personal websites, definitely try to include it in your LinkedIn. I even include websites inside of, if you have like a professional branded website, you can include it inside your resume or your CV as well. Um, if your Twitter, if you're good on it and it's not like too crazy, I guess you could include it as well. If you're following people that you find interesting and they're like maybe a part of your brand that you like, you could include it. Um, but again, just remember that people are going to be able to see your business and it reflects it. So make sure that you upload stuff that you won't be too embarrassed speaking about too. You could always check out those different professional interest groups as well. You can have a company page for your business on LinkedIn, which is good, and then you can give out recommendations. And this sixth one is you can post regularly and engage with others. You can use the chat feature. You can just make a little post about what you're doing as well. I find that when I use my social medias, I don't really post at all. I usually just kind of see what everyone else is up to and just check out what they're doing. But again, if you are running a business and you're trying to brand yourself out there, posting regularly could be very helpful too. If you have a blog, I do know I have one friend on LinkedIn that has a blog, and whenever she makes a new blog post, she posted her LinkedIn with the blog link. So that's one way that you could go about creating, excuse me, sorry about that, creating your LinkedIn to help brand yourself a bit more. And now we have our don'ts. Yeah, here we go. Oh, well, I'm guilty of the second one, so maybe I should start posting more as well. But the first one is don't have your photo blank. Don't forget to respond to people. Sometimes it's hard if it's a lot, but try to keep up on it. Um, Also, don't forget that LinkedIn has the opportunity to find you work as well. So whenever you're like, don't kind of blow anything off very nonchalantly. Try to treat any inquiries or any people that you're messaging, like in a respectful business manner. You never know what they have in store for you. Um, and also don't ignore other available company pages and the ability to grow your followers. If you have a pretty solid backing of people interested in what you're doing, not only is it going to get your name out there a bit more, but it's also probably going to be a driving force for you to keep posting and to keep working on what you're doing, because people are interested in what you're seeing pretty much. So it's always important to figure out where your little niche is and then to follow it there. Cool. The second one for your profile picture, because I know profile pictures and lots of other social medias can range from anything you'd like. It could be like a funny one, or it could be just like a regular one as well. Usually, if you have a LinkedIn or anything like that, you're going to want to have a professionally taken photo headshot, pretty much, and that would pretty much make your profile stand out a bit more and make you stand out that much more. And if you have staff that are your LinkedIn as well, I would say you probably want them to have those headshots too. If you're a very big company and you're not running it solo, you could have someone to run your LinkedIn company page. And the issue with these social medias as well, and this is kind of what we talked about earlier. Excuse me, everyone. We spoke about it earlier about how you don't want to use every single social media that's out there. Is because working on these social medias is kind of like a full time job. There's a lot that goes into it and a lot that you need to keep up with. Cool. Important note that if you have contacts in your LinkedIn, you can export your name and email of those contacts so you can reach out to them. There's paid advertising as well. And there's also, let's see here. Yeah, if you have a company page built into your LinkedIn, LinkedIn's sponsored email has a way that you can reach professionals beyond your page followers. So that will allow you to reach out to more people, which could in turn increase your business and then in turn increase your revenue there as well. Cool. So I just went through a bit here. Are there any questions? Oh, oops, daisy. Are there anyone who has any questions with LinkedIn, or you guys a bit familiar with it? Let's see here. And again, if you guys have questions or want me to repeat anything during these, just let me know. But yeah, I think LinkedIn's a very solid. I think you can't do any damage to anything if you make a LinkedIn, just to keep up with it and make sure that it's all up to date, pretty much. But again, if you go around to too many of them, sometimes it could get a bit overwhelming. So make sure that whichever social media you're picking, you can kind of schedule yourself and pace yourself to keep up with it and to make sure that you don't fall behind in them. Great. Now we got Twitter, which which is always fun. Twitter seems to always be there's always something going on in Twitter. It seems. So let's see here. Twitter is what is referred to as a microblog that can send a max limit of 280 character text-based messages called tweets. So you can make some tweets there. There could be videos, photographs, or blogs in the tweets, or even a PDF. Excuse me. And the cool thing is that you can follow people on Twitter. You can determine who sees your posts and stuff as well, and you can comment and quote on people. Excuse me. Twitter has a wide range of people from like actors on it, all the way to professional industry experts as well. I know some universities are on Twitter too, so there's a lot you could do with Twitter. Cool. Okay, sorry. Again, as a follower, you can read what anyone is tweeting if you're following someone. And again, you could also look for hashtags inside of Twitter, such as this hashtag fashion one, which will be useful if you want to find certain aspects. Excuse me. And then we we keep saying this word soundbite in the class again. And if you're ever confused about that, that's just like a little snippet of information as well. And essentially, though, why you would want to use Twitter is that it's another way to reach a lot more customers and followers. And you can also alter your consumer behavior using it and increase your sales. See here? But another thing about this is that one of the downsides of Twitter is that it's very public. So if someone wants to be mean to your company, it's very easy for them to do that. Then here, one sec, everyone. Sorry. So everyone, my notes was killing me there. Awesome. So again, with our Twitter, we just want to keep in mind that whoever can reach us, excuse me, whoever we have as followers or anything like that, uh, can complain, and the complaints on Twitter could be good, or sorry, could do quite some damage to your company too. And now here's some do's and don'ts about Twitter. You want to follow other people first, and you want to make sure that you kind of stay consistent with your following. There's a biography on it, and just be yourself with it. If you're either doing this as a personal brand or if you wanted to just have your business profile on there, make sure that you always share some valuable content. Whether it be a really good tweet to make is if you're doing community work and you're a local business doing community work, you could tweet about it and then include some photos, and then people would be pretty solid to respond to that. And then you can respond promptly to a direct or a private tweet as well. Make sure that you're always on top of what people are asking of you and stuff too. Excuse me. See here. And some more do's. Use hashtags so that remember Twitter uses hashtags to figure out what someone would want to follow. So you want to try to get a hashtag that links up. You remember with that Black Dog Gelato company, they had that hashtag dough something. So people are going to probably use that to be able to determine who they want to follow. You could try to shorten your URL using some tools. If you have an Instagram account as well on top of Twitter, you can link these guys, and then you can link them to your LinkedIn as well. And then, of course, schedule yourself, establish your own style, and align with your behavior. Also, for Twitter, if some don'ts, don't leave your profile blank. Don't ignore direct tweets or retweet. Don't overplan your tweets. Don't essentially don't try to complain a ton on your Twitter. If you're using Twitter as a way to vent, you might want to make a private account, or you might want to make a separate account that's separate from your brand. That's completely fine to use Twitter for other purposes as well. But if you're trying to do it for a professional business way, definitely don't use it for a more professional reason. Don't always feel the need to use your hashtags. Don't spam. Don't keyword stuff. Um, Also, for your business, if you're trying to be a business with selling shoes or anything, try to make sure that you're not always just trying to make sales. People will recognize it and then react negatively to it. And the seventh one, don't tweet lots, then do nothing. Try to make sure that your tweets are reflective of what you're doing. Cool. Don't use capital letters. Is I mean to shout. Don't worry about unfollowing people either. There's no notifications for that. If you're retweeting people, maybe don't forget to acknowledge them. Don't ever feel that you need to miss out. That you need to see everything. It's okay to miss out on a few things. And of course, Twitter. The thing about Twitter as well is that it's even more full time than LinkedIn, trying to keep up with everything. So just try to find your niche inside of Twitter and stick to it, and then make sure that you just follow the dues that are a part of this presentation as well. Cool. You can make a list of tweeters or people on Twitter that you want to listen to, especially if they're either brand professionals or anything like that. Um, you can also embed your Twitter timeline. Your timeline is essentially all the posts that you made and retweets and responses. You can embed that into your website pages as well. There's lots of tools that do that. And third, there's another tool that helps analyze how popular your Twitter is. And again, Twitter has ways you could set a budget to promote an account or a tweet. Even you can promote tweets, and you can also have advertising accounts and and analyze results of those. Cool. So now here's everyone's favorite, which is the Facebook. I'm sure everyone's heard of this one. Excuse me. And the and actually this top bullet point, I'll remind us later, but I do believe this is on the quiz, so make sure that you remember this one. Is that Facebook has become popular because it fulfills that need of people loving to keep in touch and share stuff they care about, and it kind of came about a time when there was not a lot of other things that did that for us. It's a very personal platform, and it has a lot more going on inside of it than the other platforms do, I would think. There's like a great depth to it, and it's all free as well, which is very interesting too. Cool. On Facebook, you can share like literally all of your information about yourself, age, gender, location, and then interests as well. You can create a business page for yourself as well, and then that could be linked up to your profile too. And everyone, like I think there's there's definitely over. I'm pretty sure there's over a billion. Let me see here. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Oh yeah. So there is 2.80 billion Facebook users right now. So you're definitely going to be able to find at least a few of them for your business, right? So Facebook, and again, some of those might be fake. Again, you never know these sites, but definitely a large majority of them are real people on Facebook waiting to be, or just using it as the regular. So Facebook can be a potent generator of traffic as well. You can fill in your profile or about it section fully on Facebook. Promote your page or website. Try to experiment with what you post. Decide here you don't really want to ever ask for likes or follows. You want to try to get them naturally, but you can always encourage people to do it as well. You could get some feedback, and then of course you could always add clients and suppliers into posts, or you can be friends with them on Facebook as well. You could always link up your Facebook to your Instagram account or to your Twitter account, stuff like that as well. Or actually, Facebook and Instagram are a bit more related, but you could always talk about having a Twitter in your account as well. And then you could always monitor your Facebook activity page as well. For Facebook, don't ever forget your brand. Don't try to constantly sell yourself on there too. Don't ignore the tools. And then please don't forget to stay professional. Sometimes these social media platforms have a way of just letting us get a bit annoyed at points. So make sure that you're always professional on there in all regards. Here. Oops, it easy. Okay. For some more considerations, don't be vain on Facebook. Just be your authentic self. Try to show off pictures that are associated with your brand. Make posts that people enjoy. Like if you're doing community work and stuff, you don't need to constantly speak about it too, but like make some posts about it. Um, excuse me. There's also there's a lot of advertising on Facebook as well. So you can definitely use Facebook for targeted ads, and then users will try to be more interested in it if they see your targeted ads. Cool. And essentially, you just want to be authentic on Facebook, as there's a lot of tools on there, and people will be able to, like, Facebook has the ability for people to find out a bit more. So make sure that you use all the tools that Facebook offers. All right, so we're going through it here. I just want to, before we dive into YouTube and stuff, is this stuff clear to everyone? I just wanted to talk a bit about some of these social medias. Does anyone want me to review anything about LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook so far? It's good. Good. And again,
Hello, sir.
oh yeah, question.
Uh, I have quite a number of challenges with using Twitter.
Sure.
Uh, Several years ago, I opened my Twitter account, but I rarely use it for the fact that I'm not too conversant with the way Twitter works. The first thing it took me then was something like follow, follow, follow.
Y-
And since then, up till now, I rarely open my Twitter page because I don't really know much on how to operate it, really.
yeah. So
So that's the basic challenge I have with using. I have an account, but I rarely use it.
yeah. So that's a great point. Is that sometimes some of these social medias, I said here, they're definitely marketed some to. They're pretty broad with who they're marketed to, but sometimes some people just. I'm the same actually as you, Solomon. I tried using Twitter once, and immediately it hit me with like 20 different follow pages, and then I just got so overwhelmed that I just didn't want to do it anymore. Um, so yeah, so for that consideration too, if you're not too much of a fan of how Twitter does it, or because it's a lot of work again, these social medias are kind of full time to make sure that they're up to date. So you could always try to opt Twitter for something else, and maybe you could put more into LinkedIn instead of Twitter for businesses or personal stuff, or you could always do Instagram instead as well. But again, I think 2 to 3 social medias is more than enough to get any brand going. Like, uh, if you have a website, you literally all anything else you would need is like a LinkedIn and a Facebook, pretty much. I think that's all you could need to. Um, but again, don't feel the issue with some of these is don't feel pressured to use every single social media or like the most popular one at the time, because there's around 4 or 5 really solid ones as well. Good, cool.
Okay. And also, okay, you want to talk about YouTube now.
Oh yeah,
I'm hoping I can make YouTube videos,
yeah,
uh, but I don't know how to go about it yet,
yeah.
uh, really. So I don't know if any kind of assistance can be
Sure.
rendered. Maybe when you discuss YouTube with us.
Yeah,
Uh,
I could definitely talk a bit about it because even in the YouTube is great if you're starting to use it. That's awesome.
okay. Okay, how to make the content and some other things because it's more like I was looking at that maybe one we need to learn about uh, how to make some short films or how to edit and post production in
Yeah,
particular, some of the challenges I have. Do
that's,
one need to really have to go and learn that separately before you can actually use uh, YouTube?
yeah. Okay, I could definitely right now I'll go through the slides, but I could definitely go in depth about it too because I mean even in this class I upload a few YouTube videos, but I could definitely show off a few things and some production studio things too, because the things that make YouTube videos, it's actually not that bad to make them. They're pretty straightforward after you chip away at them. So I could definitely address those issues too. So
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
yeah, great work, Solomon. That was awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, and again, as a general theme, again, don't let's see here. Oops, a daisy, sorry everyone. With some social media platforms and stuff, if you feel that sometimes it's a bit too much work to try to get them going, don't feel any worry about that. You could always put your efforts elsewhere too. Great. So now we have YouTube, which is where I upload all of our videos. And YouTube, of course, was been around for a while. But YouTube is a fantastic way. It's a very interesting mixture because it's more heavily focused on videos, but there are aspects of social media on here as well. Again, YouTube is essentially like a Google for videos. It's a search engine. There's an infinite amount of resources made, and it will continue to be made. If you have a channel on YouTube, you can get subscribers to it, and as you get more subscribers, the more your content is out there, and the more people get out there too. People can like, comment, and share your material as well, and they could share it to either Facebook or to Twitter or to Instagram and stuff too. So YouTube is kind of this very niche market where if you have the opportunity to make videos that are kind of interesting or niche, then you should definitely go for it. Now, essentially, YouTube gives you this ability to create your videos and post them up. And then if your videos are very effective, I would say keep doing it. And I want to show off a very quick example here. Let me look up one thing very quickly for everyone. Let's see here. Let me see here. Okay, I wonder. Okay, so oh, let me read this really quick. All right, so everyone. Okay, I have a bunch of ads right now. Let me pull this up once it's over. Cool. So, this YouTube video, this company is Rover's Makeover Dog Grooming in Oklahoma City. And if you see here, they have 91,000 views. And I can assure you that most of the people watching this are probably not from Oklahoma. Or you know what? There's probably a decent from there. But as of right now, I'm in Chicago. And I'm never going to go to Oklahoma City to do my dog grooming. But I just wanted to show off that what these people do is they just make videos showing off them grooming dogs. So all she's doing is she has a pretty high quality camera on her, and she's going around just grooming dogs. There's some more videos like this as well. If we go, I just go back one here. There's a bunch of videos here. Grooming a golden retriever. This one has 350,000 views on it because everyone loves golden retrievers. And during the video, let me see if I can unmute it. Whoops.
Gonna rinse.
She, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but she essentially just talks about what she's doing during the video. And that's essentially it. She goes through it, and then she speaks about the process of nail clipping, and then, of course, the type of grooms that she'll use. And you see here, they have a bunch of them. Let's go to their page. They have 422,000 subscribers, and their most viewed video has 13 million views. So you can see here that these people kind of found this market where instead of just being okay with getting those few groomers or that constant supply of customers, they were like, hey, lots of people have dogs around the world. A lot of people on YouTube just like to watch anything. And I just groom dogs because people like to see it. So, Solman, as you mentioned as well, like try to figure out what type of content to make. If you in your business somehow, a very cool thing you could do, of course, making it appropriate for YouTube as well is a bit more of a challenge. But whatever you're doing, you could always just record it and upload it. Construction companies do it all the time. One more example of this. So I don't want to be harping on this point too long. Let's see here. So I'll let that one load. But you might have seen a few of these before as well. They're kind of like time-lapse videos where people just constantly build up. Let's see here. And yeah. So it's essentially, once this loads up, cool. So this is a time-lapse of a new building home. And look, these guys are just recording. And again, all they're doing is their job, right? They would be doing this just the exact same if they weren't recording it. But as you can see here, these ones are always cool. It shows you in like a fast, well, this one says real time, but it shows you in a bit of a faster way how these guys are building it. My family used to do construction a lot, so this is all familiar to me. But as you can see here in the top right, what do you see up here? You see concrete contracting companies, and there's an advertisement for them too, right? And so all of these guys are just going ahead and just recording their building. And then as you can see, they eventually finish up there. So This is why you want to use YouTube here. I just showed you guys 2 videos, but there's so many more out there. And essentially, think about your brand. If you do research, or if you work in research, or you work in coding or web development or anything, you could always just record yourself doing your work and then just upload it. Like people will watch anything nowadays, so make sure that you can use it to your advantage there. And again, if you have a good goal in mind and you can align this content with your marketing strategy and you have a decent production quality of it, you're really going to flourish in YouTube. Like Oklahoma City groomers, they probably make quite a bit of revenue off of YouTube on top of whatever they're making inside of their normal sales. See here. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys by reading through all of these, but there's tons of reviews and ideas for YouTube. Tutorials are always good. Vlogs, background stories, interviews, testimonials, which we'll get into a bit later. Fundraising, community service, stuff like that is all very good for YouTube. Great. So some do's for YouTube: always add subtitles to your videos. People, even if they can hear, sometimes like subtitles now, so make sure they're in there. Get keywords in your descriptions, so descriptive keywords. Have them embedded, embed your videos within your website as well. That's always a good way to reach more people, because people might have just seen your website on an advertisement, gone to it, and then seen that you have a YouTube channel as well. And then, of course, use your business branding to let customers know they're in the right place. Hashtags are still important. Be a bit creative and consistent with your content as well. And actually, these creative is always good, but consistency, number 10, is probably the most important thing for YouTube out of all of these social medias, because YouTube is very heavy and it's very easy to just fall behind in YouTube. So make sure you're always consistent. Don't forget to promote your channel or respond to queries. Don't imagine that you're going to get famous off YouTube. A very hard thing on YouTube is that everyone puts in a lot of work to make YouTube videos, and it takes a while. But if you approach this video as an idea like this is the one that's going to make me famous, you're going to get burnt out a bit, because sometimes it just doesn't happen. Usually when you're not planning on it is when it will happen, I found. It's just like from all these famous YouTubers and stuff, usually they don't plan to make themselves like social media like viral famous. All they do is just upload stuff consistently. Great. YouTube has a way of being able to drill into gender, location, and age statistics and figure out who's watching your content. Let's see here. If you pay a fee when someone decides to click on your video, it will show you who you're reaching. Excuse me. And then again, if your core customer is someone who loves their YouTube, then this is where you need to be the most focused. Cool. And again, I showed off a few videos, but I could definitely do some extra recordings on the side, because again, I do want to let you guys get some lab time in as well. But I could definitely do some extra supplemental videos on making YouTube videos and splicing them in technologies for that as well. See here. So we have Instagram as well. I do know a few of us. Yeah, Livia said you're using Instagram, Vitaly as well. So a few of us do use some Instagram here. And Instagram is great. It's a very convenient and quick way to share photos and videos. You have a lot of filters on there. And then you're encouraged to use hashtags in your photos to figure out what's going on for either the location or what's happening by you right now. For example, like Florida, lakeside, and picnic. Cool. And now Instagram, why you might want to use Instagram for us as well. Oh, but you use Instagram as well. Awesome. So why you might want to use Instagram here, let's see here. Excuse me, is that it's a very simple and straightforward process most of the time. You usually, there's not too much text to go along with it. It's just usually a photo that you can like with a little caption. And as Solomon was saying as well earlier, like Twitter at some points it's good, but it could be a bit overwhelming, and Twitter could be a bit of a rabbit hole. So for instance, if you're not too solid with Twitter like I was, you are always welcome to use Instagram and stuff too. I remember the main point. Whoops. Uh-oh. I hope. I hope they weren't in the waiting room for too long. Let's see here. Sorry, everyone. I didn't see the waiting room until now. Apologies for that. Sorry. Great. But again, for Instagram, it's a very straightforward and simple process. And again, please remember that you're not supposed to use all these social medias, but just pick a few that you feel confident that you can use and be solid with. Cool. You can use your direct work email address to set up your Instagram. You might want to have different accounts as well for your medias, but whatever you prefer is fine. Uh, Fill out your bio, get in your website address if you have one. Make sure you have a profile picture. And then again, make your profile pictures if you're a business eye catching. Maybe it's a certain product, or maybe it's a professional headshot as well. You could have an Instagram related to your company. So some companies have Instagrams that just say like XYZ company instead of the person's name. And that Instagram is dedicated to just updating images that are about the company's work. A construction company can have a lot of Instagram photos and followers, but the people who actually do the work are never in it, but the company itself is explaining it. You can always set up your social media sharing with Instagram as well. Link in your Twitter and Facebook. Find out what other people are doing. And always don't be afraid to experiment. Instagram's up to you guys. Let's see here. And then again, for Instagram, make sure that you have some solid photos and stuff before you show them. I would say 10 to 11 posts is always good to get started. And then from there, you can always upload. But remember that you don't need to go crazy on Instagram either. You don't need to have like hundreds of posts on there. Some people do. But just make sure that you have a solid Instagram. Great. To get out to more of your key audience, you could always do little ads for promoting your posts on Instagram. And then in Facebook as well, you can select the type of people you're looking for. Hi, Trim. Welcome. How are you? And with Facebook as well, you could also see where you want to spread it as well. Artem, I'm recording this right now, so it should be recorded if you wanted to rewatch the earlier portions here. Great. So again, Instagram, and I think a few of us are already using it that they're familiar with. It's a very solid way to just do a more simple approach to social media. And again, if you're finding that you're struggling picking out these more complex social media platforms, I would say Instagram is always a pretty solid one to like dip your toes into the water with. Great. Now, Pinterest is a very interesting one that I actually don't use too much. And if you guys use it, you can let me know in the chat or in the voice here. Just let me know what you feel about it too. But essentially, Pinterest is about a way you can share photos, artworks, videos, and everything as well. And it's a way that you can show graphically what you love and what you do as well. Pinterest pages are a unique way to show owners. You can even show your prices of products and recipe ingredients, and it's a very unique way of doing it as well. Let's see here. Again, Pinterest is just this massive website with lots of information on there. I'll have to sign up for one because I don't have one just yet. But as you can see, it's a way that you can show off ideas and stuff too. And if you see here, Pinterest has the About Business, and they also have a blog here as well, right? So you can see here, let's see here, that there's lots of different ways that we can do this. And now, why would you want to use Pinterest? Well, the site gives you the ability to pin up pictures, graphics, videos, as we said, onto virtual boards that reflect your overall themes. And then people can repin your content and share it on their own boards too. You can kind of think of Pinterest as a virtual scrapbook where you can pretty much say to people, this is all the stuff I like talking about, or I like doing, or anything extra that you like doing as well. And again, the way of collating and curating content is very useful, and then you can drive traffic to your website with this content as well. Cool. Now, how do you get the most from Pinterest? Well, you got to brand your page with your logo, and then fill in the profile there as well. With your Pinterest, your descriptions are spiders, so you want to make sure that any descriptions you have in your Pinterest posts are pretty solid and useful. And again, make sure you don't do any copyright issues, but you can always add a watermark if you have original pins. there's how-to and stuff, and we can speak about it too. But you can protect your content that way. And again, Pinterest as well can host videos, and again, videos, GIFs, and everything else that you would need. So Pinterest is a very unique way to go about sharing these informations as well. And remember, repinners, whoever repins your content, you can always try to thank them. But remember that this is not a way to sell your content to them as well. Now, for Pinterest as well, similar to Twitter and Facebook, you can deploy these promoted pins, which is essentially a way that you can go about and advertise a bit more to your core customers, and then essentially be there for your customers as well if they have any questions. Great. Cool. So we just went through quite a bit of social media, and again, if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. But yeah, I'll ask now. Do you guys have any questions about any of these social medias, or do you guys want me to review a topic or anything? Let's see here.
Yeah.